that's gonna happen is nothing. We didn't even talk that much before we need to be doing this. It's happened to a lot of people. So trust me when I say this, I have been in your shoes. I know how stressful and frustrating it can be trying to find the ideal perfect roommate. So today I'm just gonna give the breakdown on how to find the roommate and just some advice going along the way. To make this video efficient and just flow and get all the knowledge, the first part that I'm gonna be talking about is just like the simple kind of just steps on how to actually find a roommate. Then I'm just gonna give a little bit more of some advice and specific advice on how to choose a specific roommate. And then after that, my friends who are living in the dorms who have roommates or have had roommates are going to give their experience, and then at the end I'm going to talk about my personal experience on finding a roommate, and I'm going to have the chapters below if you want to skip around to different parts of the video. So the biggest platform of just everything is going to be social media to find your roommate. That's pros and cons to it, but that's just the reality of the situation. So Instagram is definitely a key, Facebook is a key, as well as Snapchat. Starting off with Instagram, there's most likely going to be a page just for your class. So example would be like SDSU class of 2026, and just everyone DMs that account with a picture of them or multiple pictures that just kind of really show who they are. Don't be fake while doing it, just show your authentic, real self, because in the end you want a roommate that is going to like you for who you are, not who you are on social media. So it's a little hard, but so you're going to send that in with a description, and that description you want to be as detailed and as specific as you possibly can. Here's just a picture of everything that you should be including in your description, just so people can really understand who you are as a person. I would really recommend you screenshot of that picture because it is going to be very useful. As for who runs the specific account, it could be someone in your class that started it, or it could be an upperclassman like in a class above that just decided to start it to help people out. If you see a post that you like and you kind of see potential with that person, definitely save that photo or take a screenshot and have an album, because when I was doing this, I was like, oh, you know, she's cute, I might want to room with her, and then there was 100 posts after that and I couldn't find her. So definitely keep track of who you kind of have potential with, and then while you're on Instagram still, definitely reach out and just follow people. Even if it's people that you don't really want to be roommates with, it's still so important just to follow people, have your name kind of known, and then, because trust me, when you get to college and you're like, oh my gosh, like I recognize you from Instagram, I recognize you from social media, boom, you already have a connection and it's already that much easier to make a friend. And after Instagram, I would head over to Facebook, go in the search bar and search up your college that you are going to or you want a friend or roommate for, and search up the class number of that year that you will be graduating in from college, not from high school. And it is so fine if you're not active on Facebook, because people usually don't look at like the post on Facebook, then probably head over like to your Instagram most likely to see like what you're doing, but it's still pretty good to have both. Like me personally, I did not have like any Facebook posts, so you're fine. But then I would just copy and paste the same description from Instagram onto Facebook, or maybe change it up a little bit. I mentioned Instagram and Facebook first because after those two are done, then it's going to lead to Snapchat, because in those descriptions, if you mention your Snapchat, you can either add people on Snapchat or someone may add you and you might get added to a group chat. But do not hesitate if you are not added to a group chat or something, because there is a maximum on Snapchat of how many people you can have. I just remember I was in a group chat with like 60 people it seemed like, and we couldn't add more people, so then I just made another one with more people so no one like felt left out. So I would definitely take it upon like your initiative just to make a group chat if you're not in one, and then go to the descriptions on Instagram and Facebook and just add girls and boys. It can be a mix. Like, okay, after you do all of that and you are posted and your face is known and your description is everywhere, after that, I want you to take out a pen and paper or write in your notes things that you are looking for in a roommate. If you want your roommate to be your absolute like best friend, your go-to, you know, keep that in mind. Or if you're kind of like, you know what, maybe it's a like person to be living with, great, love her or him, but we have other friends outside, so maybe you can consider that. Whatever it is, write it all down or type it, whatever it is, just so you know within yourself what you are looking for a roommate, so you're not lost when you're talking to people. After you fill out your social media platforms, get added to some group chats or make one, then it is really just all up to you on talking to people. So I know it can be kind of scary talking to people on social media, so I'm just gonna give a little breakdown on just some advice on how to talk to people, what to say, what not to say, just kind of all of that stuff. Like, actually get this engraved in your brain that nobody is the same as they are on social media, period. Kind of contradicts just what I just said about posting on Instagram and Facebook, but that's why I'm saying you have to be so real, try to be so real, because you don't want to be talking to someone and you see their Instagram like, oh, they look so cute, and then in person they're like completely different, because that has happened to a lot of people. So really make sure that like you're really getting to know these people and just be truthful. Advice number 2 is just to talk to people that are like 90% gonna commit or 100% already committed. And my reasoning behind this is because you don't want to be talking to a person and you're like, oh my gosh, I love this person, and then you are like, I'm only gonna room with this person, and then they end up committing somewhere else and you didn't talk to anyone else, so you're kind of screwed. So that is why I would only talk to people that are like 90% gonna commit or like already for sure committed. But for number 3, you have to be brutally honest. If you are a messy person, say that you are a messy person. If you are a type A, very clean person, say that you are that. If you like hate partying, say that you hate partying. If you love to go out 24/7, say that you love to go out 24/7. You have to be so honest, because you are going to be living with this person. It's not just like a little slumber party sleepover, oh they're fun, they're cute. Like, you are going to be like breathing the same air, you're going to be eating the same you're going to be eating in the same area, sleeping in the same area, getting ready together. You have to make sure that you are being 100% honest with everything that you say. Fourth piece of advice when you're talking to someone is that you have to mention if you want to be in a double, triple, or quad, depending on the dorm situations in your college. Kind of just going to be a natural process when you're talking to them. I can give you all the advice that I can give, but it's really just upon yourself on how, when you're talking to them, like what you kind of want to say. Every person is going to be different, but in general, when you are talking to people, just reach out to as many people as you possibly can, even if they're not potential roommates, just to get to know a lot of people. Because personally, there's a lot of people that I reached out to that I probably knew I wasn't gonna room with, but I see them now in like my dorm complex and I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, so you just know more people. So definitely just reach out to as many people as you possibly can, but at the same time, you don't want to give too much energy to every single person, because you don't want to give it in their head that like you're gonna room with them, you know? So definitely give more energy to the people that you want to definitely room with, but still talk to everyone else. That's almost like a relationship. If you ignore something in the beginning, it is most likely going to be a problem later on in the relationship. So in dorm terms of finding a roommate, if they say something that is a little bit of a red flag, for example, if they're a messy person or something and you know in your head you're a clean person, don't room with them, because later on you're gonna move in, it's gonna be a couple weeks in, and their true colors of being messy are gonna come out and you're gonna be frustrated, you know? So definitely just know red flags are red flags. Then after you've been talking to them on social media for a while, I would definitely recommend FaceTiming them as soon as you possibly can, because that can also be like a make or break, because people can be completely different on social media, like texting versus on FaceTime, and then versus in person when you meet them. So definitely take that initiative to FaceTime the person. You're kind of gonna get to the point of being like, I really want to room with this person. How do I come up with the approach? Do they already have a roommate? Like, what is going on? So much is flooding through your head. It can be so nervous. Trust me, I've been there, done that. Just take a breather. Know it's gonna be fine, and it is okay. So my advice on that whole situation is to simply ask if they have found a roommate. It's either gonna be a yes or a no. That's the worst thing that's gonna happen is nothing, because if it's a yes, it's meant to happen. If it's a no, it's not meant to happen. So it's really win-win for every situation. It's just everything with talking to someone that you might want to room with, and then it just comes down to, do you want to room with them? Again, consider all the things that I mentioned. It is okay to say no to someone if they ask if you want a room. It's much better just to be like, sorry, I already have a roommate, or I know it's like, trust me, I just like was just thinking about this, like when someone would ask me and I was like, I didn't have a roommate yet, but I just knew like I didn't really want to room with them just based on our conversation. I was just like, I don't have a roommate yet, but I'm just still talking to a few other people, but I'll let you know. And then when I found my roommate, I like reached back and I was like, hey, I found a roommate, you seem super nice though, like let's meet up when we get to college or something, you know? So just definitely know that it's okay to say no. It's better to say no than to say yes and give in and then end up hating your roommate and your whole college experience. And after you do all of that, you think that you have found a actual potential roommate that you have talked to a bunch, and you just think that he or she is the one, then take it upon your initiative to just ask, do you have a roommate yet? And if they say yes, then just be like, okay. And then if they say no, just be like, I really enjoyed our conversations and I think we would be really well together. Do you want to room? Or however you want to say it, whether it's on FaceTime or in person if you guys meet up. As much as all that advice is very useful, it is also very essential just to hear some other people's stories that are real and authentic of what actually happened when they were trying to find their roommate. So here are some of my friends' stories on how they found their roommates.
Girl had invited me and added me into a big group chat. I think it was the max number of people that you could have on a Snapchat group chat. It was 65 girls or something, and it was very chaotic whenever anyone was talking in there. But at one point someone had asked who still needs a roommate, and so me and a couple other girls were like, oh, I do. And then my roommate had then gone and personally chatted me and everything and was just like, hey, I'm Bridget, yada yada yada, a little bit about me, and then I gave her a little bit about myself, and we just communicated, and I really liked her vibe. She was from Washington and I'm from Oregon, so we kind of grew up in very similar areas, and we honestly didn't even talk that much before we got here, because she's the type of person that never goes on Snapchat, and I'm the type of person that I'm always on my phone and I'm always on Snapchat. So we honestly didn't even have that much communication. We FaceTimed once when we were filling out all of our housing licenses, and I was the one who asked her because
it's proposing.
Yeah, no, it was a proposal. I was nervous. I was like, oh, what if she says no? But it was getting really close to the time that we needed to know them by, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna ask. So I was like, hey, if you still don't have a roommate, I'd love to room together. And she was like, yes, I was gonna ask you the same thing. And so we're perfect, right on the same page. And then I actually met her for the first time a couple days before move-in. We came down to campus, walked around campus together, and then went out and got food, and then went to Target and looked around for dorm stuff and everything, and I got to meet her whole family, and it was super fun.
My original roommate, I love her. Shout out to you, Lauren. Went to UCLA, so she actually wasn't committed. But I had committed to her as a roommate. She committed to me because she didn't think she was going to end up getting accepted in UCLA, but she did. So from that, I had to find a whole new roommate right before the process, so it was kind of stressful. But I ended up meeting a really nice girl in a Snapchat group chat that was made from the Facebook to the Instagram to the Snapchat to many Snapchat group chats. I met a girl that was really funny, seemed outgoing from texting a lot, and we FaceTimed a lot, so I asked her to be my roommate, and she said yes. So that ended up working out. The roommate selection or the housing selection is pretty random here, so you don't get to choose where you want to live. But we said we wanted a balcony because of asthma, which was not true.
That worked for
me. To wash, which ended up being a great dorm anyway. But we just didn't want anything but Chappie. Funny now, I live in a single and Chappie by myself, and my roommate went home.
The unexpected will happen.
So, expect the unexpected. It's really not that complicated. Just put yourself out there, make sure you're posting yourself and sending yourself into any Instagram account.
I didn't start talking to people until I was 100% committed to San Diego State, which is where I am now. I love it here. So once I was committed, started talking to people, that was around February. So February I started talking to people, March I was talking to people, and then kind of early April when I was talking to people, people were like, oh sorry, I already have a roommate. And I was like, oh, are already having roommates. I'm stressed out. What am I doing? I don't know what's going on. But for me, I wanted to be able to meet my roommate before I ended up flying across the country, because I'm from Chicago, before I ended up flying across the country to meet a stranger. That just stressed me out. I was like, I don't mind rooming with someone who is from my area or somewhere close where we can just drive by and meet up. So I already knew from the beginning of what I was kind of looking for in a roommate, and one of the things was someone who was around my area, because once you're here, you can still branch out to everyone else that is not from your area. that being said, then I kind of realized that and I reached out to her, and here is the cringy DM of what I said. Cringy DM is what led me to an amazing roommate, Carly. So you have to just be cringy a little bit. You have to do what you gotta do to find that roommate. So when I was just talking to her for a little bit, we were both really bad on texting on Snapchat and Instagram because I'm just not huge on social media to begin with. So then we ended up just meeting in person. I remember I was so nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. But we ended up meeting in person, just vibing right off the bat. We went to go get food. I'll never forget, we went to Chipotle. We were just talking about college and our lives and just everything, and it went really well. And then at the end, like, it literally felt like I was like proposing to someone or something. I was literally like, will you be my roommate? Like, I didn't say it like that, but I was just like, whatever, and she said yes. So then that is just how I personally found my own roommate. And across the street, across the hallway, are two girls who we both kind of talked to. So like, one girl was talking to me and the other was talking to Carly, and it was really funny because now we're like living across. So just be nice to everyone because you might end up living next to someone that you were talking to. If you're watching this video and you're kind of like, I don't even want a roommate, I know I can't live with someone, here's my advice on this. 1, if you think that, you might want to just give it a shot with living with someone because you never know until you try. But 2, at the same time, if you are like, there's no way I'm living with someone, there's nothing wrong whatsoever with living in a single. The only downside of living in a single is that it tends to be more expensive. If this video helped you, make sure to stick around because I'm going to be doing a lot of videos all about dorm life. I mean, I'm in the dorms right now, but thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck if you're trying to find a roommate. Again, trust the process. It will work out in your favor one way or another. But yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Bye.